It's the Last Stand Podcast. And here's your host, Brian Custer.
That's right. The unfiltered, straight talk from some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment. That's what we do here on The Last Stand. I am Brian Custer, and joining me today, our guests come from the sport of boxing. The unified welterweight champion of the world and his trainer, who, by the way, the only trainer in the sport of boxing who has two unified champions, Errol Spence Jr. and Derrick James. EJ, DJ, welcome to The Last Stand.
Thank you. Good to be here, man. Thank you.
All right, Errol, let's start with you. You're defending those titles December 5th, AT&T Stadium in Dallas against Danny Garcia. It'll be well over a year since we've seen the truth in the ring. It's been over a year since you had that horrific car accident. I think everyone in the boxing world wants to know, are you still that guy?
Well, I think they'll find out December 5th. I mean, I feel great. I'm in great shape. I've been sparring, working out every day. I've been training every day. So I'll be 100% prepared for this fight. No excuses come December 5th. I'm ready to put on a great show in front of my hometown fans and everybody who ordered on pay-per-view.
So, Derrick, as you just heard Errol, you guys have been sparring. And what has that been like? Are the reflexes still there? The fast twitch muscles still there? And at any time, were there any doubts for you?
Well, there was never any doubt. I mean, I know because I know what kind of guy he is. That's the conversation I had with him. I said, I know you're a competitor. I know what you want. I know you're very competitive. I know that if there are any deficiencies by the time fight time, it won't be any. And I haven't seen any thus far. So I just know he's a true competitor. And he wants to be the best he's going to be, so he's going to push himself to the limit to be great.
And give us some insight, Derrick, on what those sparring sessions has been like and what you've seen.
Well, I've seen him. He's look good, man. He's look great. His time and reaction time is there, which is a key element for me to watch. I don't only prepare him and train him or whatever. It's all about watching and seeing how he reacts to this and reacts to the punch, slipping, everything. So he's looking good. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy about everything.
Errol, Danny is known for his timing. He's known for that left hook of his. How do you neutralize that and win this fight?
I'm basically, my own timing, using feints, sometimes standing my ground and just boxing. What I do best, beat opponents up. So, I neutralize it by just, offsetting him. He punched or I punch, make sure my timing on point, make sure my reaction time is on point. And I feel like this fight will go smooth for me. But he's not he's not much of a volume puncher, so it just be tactical. I think it probably won't be like the Sean Porter fight. It's all out, broad/fight. I think this would be more tactical and more pinpoint, type of fight between me and him.
We had Danny Garcia on the show, and, Danny said when he thinks about this fight, he said, I got to go get it. In the close losses that I've had, I think I let the early rounds slip away. But this is the unified champ, and if I want to be the unified champ and get the WBC belt back, I need to go get it. I need to start earlier. What does that say to you, Errol?
That's his game plan. I guess he's on try to press the issue and come forward and throw punches. So that's my understanding about going to go get it. So I'm not worried about throwing punches or somebody out throwing me or somebody throwing a lot of punches or pressing forward. Because as you've seen with the Sean Porter fight and previous fights, I fight well when somebody's trying to press the issue or throw a lot of punches. So I'm not worried about anything that he's bringing to the table because I have my own game plan and have my own skill set. And I know that, when I'm on point, I feel like nobody can beat me at the 147 division.
Derrick, you were quoted, since, Errol brought up Sean Porter, you were quoted as saying a Porter victory would separate you guys from the rest of the top of the welterweights. So what statement do you think a victory over Danny Garcia would send to the rest of the landscape in that division?
I think that it'll show that
Errol is the same guy he was before, and the accident was just a small little hiccup, and now he's back. So it's basically being back the point that's going to be proven and let everybody know that he is the guy he wants to be, and he's the guy to be here for the long haul.
Errol, same question to you. If you beat Danny Garcia, what should the boxing public be saying about you going forward?
Well, I mean, I just be saying the same. I'm the same fighter, pinpoint, sharp, I'm accurate, and you know, Danny Garcia is a tough opponent, and taking that as a you know, as a comeback fight, you know, shows a lot. It says a lot about myself and my ability and my skill set, just my mindset overall. So, I mean, they'll be saying that, you know, he's the same. He's on the same path of, you know, trying to be the undisputed champion of the world at 147 division. And you know, he's willing to fight the best opponents that's out there for him to fight.
And I want to stick with you, Errol, because Sean Porter said that Danny needs to step to you early in this fight and to see if Errol Spence is really over the trauma of that accident. What's your response to that?
I mean, they can do whatever. If you think I'm not over the trauma of the accident, tell him to come forward. You know, tell him to back up, do whatever he need to do. He think he's gonna win because, you know, like I said, I'll be 100% focused. If I gotta come forward, if I gotta back up, if I gotta sit there and fight, I wouldn't do it all. So I mean, I don't care what type of game plan that he has. I don't think he should be taking anything from Sean Porter. I mean, his game plan is just to, you know, just to fight basically. So I mean, just to throw like he grinding, like I said before. So. So I'm not worried about any type of game plan that Daniel, his father, come up with.
Want to stay on the topic of Sean Porter, Derrick, because he also said, quote, Derrick James is overrated as a trainer because Errol and Jermell Charlo would be great fighters regardless who was training them. Your thoughts when you heard that?
Well, you know, I never said I was the greatest, or I never said I was anything, first of all. This is what people said or whatever the boxing game says. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, they would be great fighters without me. So I'm not saying that I was Jesus when I came in here. I didn't say that. And that's the point I'm making. But at the same time, I mean, I think that he has his ability. Every title that Sean Porter's had, we've taken it. Took it from Kell Brook and took it from him. So if I'm overrated, what does that say about himself? What does that say about his trainer? So, I mean, and I don't take shots at them in any way because, I mean, there's no need to do that because, you know, number one never talks about number two. That's what you got to realize. Number one, my motto of life, number one never talks about number two. And that's 10, 20, 30 down, whoever it is, I'm not even concerned about him, so I wouldn't even mention him. So I'm not going to talk about Sean Porter because I don't know what his number is anyway.
Errol, we had your good friend Keith Thurman on the show, and he told us in the episode, quote, talking about you, he needs to see me or he's going to have to leave the 147-pound division. Your thoughts on Keith Thurman?
I guess I'm moving up or going down, 1 and 2, because, I mean, that shit ain't happening. Fuck Keith Thurman.
Tell me, what is it about Keith Thurman that just rubs you wrong?
I just don't like. There's just one guy I just never like. Like, there's a lot of boxers out there that I really don't care for. With him, I just don't like him. I just feel like he's just fake. Everything about him, I just don't like him at all.
We also had Jerron Boots Ennis, young up-and-coming welterweight, obviously very confident. And he talked about you and Bud Crawford, saying how much he really wants to fight you guys. And he said, like, quote, I feel like I have more tricks than those guys, and I can outthink both of them. I'm faster, and I'm stronger. Your thoughts on Jerron Boots Ennis?
Great young upcomer. Dude can fight. Very sharp, very accurate. You know, look like he punch hard. You know, he may have more tricks than me because I don't really got tricks. I just can fight my ass off. So I don't know nothing about tricks, but he can fight though. I mean, he's coming up. He's gonna be there along with Virgil Ortiz, and you you know, it's probably going to happen sooner or later.
You were quoted as saying that you wanted a big fight with Canelo at 160 there in Dallas at AT&T Stadium. When would you like to see that fight happen down the line?
I mean, that'd be a big fight. I mean, that fight will happen. I don't know when that happened. I mean, it's up to the guys in suits and things like that. It's up to Al and all them. But you know, I wouldn't step on Jermell toes or Jermell toes. I know Jermell been yearning for that fight for a long time. I know Jermell been wanting that fight too. So, I mean, I'll let my guy Jermell get that fight first before I step on his toes and get that fight. But if that's a fight he can't get and I can get, you know, I'll definitely take that fight. I don't know when it will happen, but, you know, I'll definitely fight it.
And let me ask you this. Why 160? Why step over 154 and go straight to 160? Is that because Jermell is right there at 154? You certainly don't want to, you know, fight with your training partner.
Yeah, I mean, the only person to fight for a title at 154 is him or what's his new name?
Cheryl,
whatever his name is. But I mean, Jermell want to fight him, so I mean, 160 it would be Canelo. So.
Derrick, as his trainer, how many more fights do you see Errol Spence at 147?
That I don't know. I think that it's more about how many fights he wants to make it. You know how many
About
times
2, 3 more.
Oh, there we go. Then
2, 3 more. I'm done.
I mean, yeah.
And if it's up to you, Errol, at 147, lay it out for me. Who was on the Errol Spence 147 hit list?
The only people I got on my hit list, I mean, of course, Danny. Not looking over him at all. You know, he's top of my list. Danny, Manny Pacquiao, Terence Crawford, and then I'm going up.
Your thoughts on Errol Bud Crawford taking on Kell Brook?
I don't know. I mean, Kell Brook haven't been at 147 since he fought me. You know, and I guess it was a struggle for him to make 147 at that time too. So it's a struggle for all of us, but definitely a struggle for him. And I heard he only had like 7-8 weeks to train. You know, he used to training camp like 12 weeks. You know, I'll be in everybody business like that.
Right.
He's training camp like 12 weeks. And I heard that his trainer left him too. But his trainer not gonna be with him. I don't know if that's true or not. His trainer's not gonna be with him either. So I mean, it's really up to, you know, if Kell Brook feel like he's ready for the fight. You know, I feel like, you know, experience-wise, it's a good fight, but I just feel like Terence Crawford's going to beat him up. I mean, yeah. I just feel like he's going to win.
Derrick, let's talk about you because, listen, you used to be a fighter, fought at super middle. You put the gloves away about 12 years ago. Did you know then that you wanted to be a trainer?
I didn't. I kind of knew that I wanted to give back to you know, and that's really kind of what it was. I wanted to give back, but I didn't know if that meant being a trainer or being whatever. Then it just kind of happened. Just went to a boxing tournament one day, bumped into Errol's father in the stands, and that's kind of how it went from there. That's kind of how it happened. So I would have been out. I mean, I wouldn't have been involved in the sport at all, other than kind of like maybe mentoring or something. I don't know, but I mean, it just happened.
And do you remember how old Errol was at that time? And at that time, were you training anybody at that time?
No, I wasn't. No. I was just working at Cooper Fitness Center. Just working and just not training anybody, not really involved in boxing. I kind of just retired. Errol was about 18 years old. About 17, 18 years old, something like that. Yeah.
Errol, tell me about that day. You remember that day, and how do you remember it?
I remember the first time we really started training because I didn't want to work with him. I was like, nah. Then my dad actually paid me. He was paying me under the table to work with him, come to Cooper and work with him and train with him. So I started training with him. We started training for like a couple months. Like I would train with him, then go to another gym, train with him, go to another gym for a couple months. And we were just working on like defense, keeping my hands up. You know, throwing, because at that time I used to always just throw my straight left. I never threw like anything else but jab, straight left, jab, straight left, jab, straight left. Then I got with him, I started switching up my combination, doing different things like that. And then, you know, over time, because we got closer and, you know, we got cool. We started talking. But when we first started training, probably for like a year, no, I didn't even talk to him. We didn't talk
3 years. 3 years. We had one conversation.
We didn't have,
Like, listen.
And I'm not talking to the person anyway.
Right.
Like, if I don't know you, I'm not going to talk to you anyway.
But for 3 years, 3 years, we never had a conversation, man. And this was funny about it. We trained 7 days a week. So we train every day. Every day.
And he never said nothing to you.
But we just never had a conversation, man.
Yeah, I didn't talk anyway at the time. Like, I didn't talk. So.
Right, yeah, really. Don't worry.
So, EJ, let me ask you this. Why did you not want to train with them at the beginning? What was it?
Man, basically, you know, stuck in my ways. Stuck in my ways. Just this is how I am. Like, stuck in my ways. You know, wanted to keep doing what I've been doing, and you know, just figure it out on my own. That's how I always am. That's how I always been. That's how I am. You know, even with strength training, strength conditioning, you know, whatever. But once I get stuck doing something, I just keep doing it. Like I don't switch it up. Even though I know it's for the better, I still don't do it.
Mm. And so when you look back on it and here going forward, what do you think? What's the best thing that Derrick James has done for you as a fighter, EJ?
As, you know, well, for like being in the ring wise, like training.
Sure. As a fighter in the ring, out of the ring, what's the best thing he's done for you?
He always talked to me about, you know, having humility and you know, being humble and not below or somebody less than you, always saying something to him, where you've been this world champion or winning national titles, not to just overly brag on things, and just humble yourself, always train hard and stay focused, because how hard it was to get to the top, it's easy to drop to the bottom. In a split second, it can take you decades to get to where you want to be. In a split second, everything can turn, and with a loss or anything, people shit on you. Just like Lomachenko. I mean, he, everybody was calling him like, God of boxing type thing, and then as soon as you take a loss, people, he's old or overrated, this and that. It's like, damn, y'all was just talking good about this guy. Now treating him like crap. So, it's always keep that humility and just, stay with yourself and stay true to yourself. But once you stay true to yourself, and everything can go, at least you stay true to yourself, and you got that confidence staying true to yourself. So if everything goes, you'll be comfortable because you always been within yourself anyway. So that's how I always been. That's how I always am now. And that's how I'm trying to stay. So I give him that, and just working out wise, training wise, just being he always keep my hands up, throwing the jab, throwing my punches to Chris, bringing them back. Even when I was always sparring, like he used to always tell me different things, like you doing this or you doing that, or you need to do this, and I'm like, I am doing. Like, keep your hands up, like, and I turn around because I get mad. Like I am keep my hands. He was like, I know you keep your hands up. I'm just reminding you, telling you. So with him, nothing's like perfect. He's always trying to work on things, always trying to remind me, even if I'm doing something right. He'll tell me like I'm doing something wrong. So I just think about it and make sure that it's in my mind that I'm doing.
You mentioned sparring, keeping your hands up. Just on a side note, what was it like now that you're back in sparring? I mean, was it like riding a bike? What was it like taking punches again and things of that nature? What has it been like for you?
The first time I sparred, I did 10 rounds.
10 rounds.
Yeah, I did 10 rounds, and it felt awkward as hell. It was super awkward. It just felt awkward, like just facing somebody in the ring. I'm like, it just felt awkward. But I felt good, shape wise and reacting, and slipping punches and stuff like that. It just felt real awkward. But like the second, third sparring, it was just like, I guess like riding a bike. Like, once you get on it, like just like running anything else. Once you do it, and then you do it the next day, and the next day you like comes like back natural because you know this is what I did, you know, every day. So you know this is my life, so it just came natural. Now it's like you know, I'm sharp as tack.
Derrick, we had obviously the Charlo twins on the show, and I want to hear from you. What was that like for you when Jermell said he was at a fight, he was sitting with Errol, and all of a sudden he said he leaned over to Errol and said, "Hey, that's your trainer. He's kind of swaggy. I think I want him to train me." What did you think when Jermell first approached you about training? Because you had basically Errol. So what was that like for you?
Well, it was really kind of like we were at the fight together, the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. And he's like, "Hey, man, I'm going to hang out with y'all. Man, can I hang out with y'all? I like the way y'all vibe," whatever he said. And just kind of like, so the weekend, he hung out with us. And that was, I guess that was kind of how he was trying to mesh and see how we all meshed together. And then when we were at the weigh-ins for the, you know, he was like, "Man, if I ever leave my trainer, I'm going to come with you." And so I was like, man, you know, at first I was like, I like running. I already had a lot of drama with that, with Errol in Dallas. People talking about leaving trainers, whatever. But listen, man, I don't want to get involved in that. Then later, it was like he was really serious. I mean, he already obviously had it on his mind. He was trying to like kind of scope the scene out and see how everything was going. And you know, it worked. You know, he worked out really well because we all are growing. We all are growing. Even though I'm 48, we all are growing. Errol's, EJ's growing, Jermell's growing, so we're all growing. We're going in the right direction. It's not so much about boxing as it is about being better individuals and better people. So that's what I like more than anything is that you see the compassion, the understanding, and the heart of both of these guys. That I see the heart of both of these guys when I see them working out, when I see them training, from EJ working out, from when he first came in the gym, how we just gradually built on and built on and built on and built on and built on to where you can see all of the heart and emotion in his eyes to be focused. To where Jermell has been fights with Harrison. He goes into the fight with the last kid, and he goes in and you see the maturation of the man, because it's not so much about him being such a fighter than it is about him being a man. You notice in the press conference, he was in the press conference and we had talked, so he would just answer the question. And they were like, "Oh my God, he's gonna have to do a little bit more than that because we gotta sell a fight." Like, no, he's not doing more than that. So you know, it's like we're all growing together, which is a good thing. It's a great thing.
That's fantastic. Errol, was there when he came to you and said, "Man, I think I want to have Derrick be my trainer as well"? Was there any like, "Hey, that's my trainer, man. I'm not trying to share"? What was that like for you?
Man, I didn't care. I mean, Jermell was my boy anyway. Like me and Jermell, even the amateurs going all the way up. Like, you know, we go to Texas, so we go to the Texas team and things like that. We go to the everything. So that's always been him and his brother always been my boy anyways. When he said that, I was like, "Yeah, go ahead. You know, I talk to the boys. Like, you know, here's his number, all this and that. You know, so I just wanted to have it. I mean, people come to me all the time and ask, you know, can they train with Derrick? And I was like, yeah. Somebody, I give him his number and everything. Like, yeah. Like, ask my number. Well, I don't be tripping. As long as I get my time and have my time, then, you know, then it's cool, you know. So, you know, they can work on that time. But, you know, I only fight 2 times, 3 times a year. So, I mean, they can handle the rest.
And you know, listen, I've had the pleasure of seeing those sparring sessions with you two. The best thing when you get that work in where Jermell Charlo and you two are going at it, what's the best thing? How has that helped you, Errol, as a fighter?
Just keep you sharp. I mean, you fighting somebody like Jermell to keep you sharp. And they say, you know, iron sharpens iron. You know, I'm not, you know, just a sparring partner or a guy that's coming there to get a check. And, you know, he's out of shape. A lot of times, you know, he got a fight coming up or I got a fight, you know, right next to him. So we be in, you know, camp, you know, together. And so we're close to weight, 147, 154, so we help each other out. And, you know, we both trying to win. We both trying to outdo each other. I don't want him to beat me up, and he don't want me to beat him up. So, you know, so it brings out the best, especially competitive nature in us. So, you know, so it helps us a lot. It means a lot, you know. And I think we make each other really sharp.
What was that like for you, Errol, when you saw Jermell knock out Rosario and become the unified champ, and all of a sudden, not only is your training partner the unified champ, but now your trainer has 2 unified champs. What was that like for you?
Well, at first I was shocked. I was like, I wasn't really shocked. I was looking at
What
the
happened?
screen. You know, like Sopranos, you know, when it's at the end, it just went off like that.
Yeah.
I went back and just looking at it like, the hell, it's over? Like, I was like, he gonna get up. Man, he just sat there. I was like, damn, man, like, he really, like, convulsing. And, you know, at first I was like, what the hell? I was just staring at the screen. And then, of course, I was excited after it, and I texted them, both of them, like, one morning, like, you know, congrats, you know, this is what you work hard for, this and that. But, you know, I'm happy for him. You know, this is what he worked hard for. He get a lot of doubters. He get a lot of, you know, people, you know, talk bad about him and things like that. But thinking about Jermell, you know, trains hard, works hard. You know, he's always prepared when he gets in the ring. So, you know, it means a lot just for him to get his just due, because I know how hard he works in the gym.
Derrick, what was that like for you when the realization hit, like, wow, the 2 guys who I train are unified champions, are basically the top guys in their division? What was that like for you when that realization hit you?
You know, I think when you realize it's beautiful, but I think that it's an individual thing. It's an individual pleasure. You know, for me, like, I can't expect it to mean anything to anybody else other than myself and my guys. Because, I mean, so what that means is it's an individual accolade. That even though the world knows, the people know in the boxing world, the reality of it is it's for us. We won it for us. We won those titles for us. You know, I did it for them. They did it. We all did it together. So I think that's how I have to look at it. You know, I can't look at it as if it means anything to anybody else. It just has to mean something to me and my guys, and that's really what it means something to is myself. And I'm sure that the titles, both of those titles, all 3 of those titles, mean something to Errol and Jermell. So that's what it matters the most.
Derrick, listen, let's be honest with one another. You're the only person in the sport right now that trains 2 unified champions. Are you the best trainer in boxing?
Hey, this is what I say. I say that they're not better than me and I'm not better than them. It's like, you can't say that. I mean, I think that right now, at this particular moment, I may be having more success than the other guys. But I won't say, because you can't, so there's no way to grade who's better, who's best. I mean, I think that everybody's good in their own way. So for me, I always like to say, they're not better than me and I'm not better than them. Whoever the other guys are, I think that we're all level. Mother never raised me to think anybody was better than me. So I have that adage, but I won't say I'm better than them either. I just keep pushing on, and I let these victories and, you know, Errol's, his history and Jermell's history and whoever else's history be able to judge, and then people can say it themselves. I don't have to say that because there's no way one person can be really the best. They can have more success than others. I think it's very hard to grade that aspect of it. So I don't even worry about it. I just keep winning and keep focusing on it and not even really pat myself on the back for it.
Errol, in your opinion, what separates Derrick James from the rest?
I really don't know. I mean, I really haven't worked with anybody else. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, like you said, you know, we'll let, you know, his accomplishments, you know, speak for itself. You know, I'm not here to say who's the best. I'm not here to say, you know, I'm the best boxer, you know, in boxing. You know, I just want somebody to try to beat me. So, you know, there goes, you know, for my coach too. I just know that, you know, whatever formula that it has, you know, it works. We train hard, we focus on ourselves, and, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we come on top with the victory. You know, that goes for Jermell too. So, man, I can't say who's the best, but I know he is one of the best, and, you know, his remedy works, and, you know, I'm with it.
All right, gentlemen. For those who watched the show, we allowed them to submit questions, boy, and it came raining down for both of you guys. So here we go. We'll start on Twitter. Winton from Twitter asks, Errol, who's a fighter in a different weight class you would love to fight in the future and why?
Anybody else? I really don't know. In a different weight class? I don't know.
In a different weight class.
Yeah, in different weight class, I have no idea. I mean, Jermell, they were 54 and Jamal, they 160. So they handling everything at their weight classes. So I ain't going down to 140. So I don't know.
Drew from Twitter asks, Errol, is being undisputed, the undisputed champ at welterweight, important to you?
Definitely. That's after I become undisputed champion, that's when I'm moving up. So I suffer at 147 for about 2-3 more fights, or how long that it takes. But hopefully in the next 2 years or so, I will be undisputed welterweight champ.
This one, Derrick, this one from Twitter, it says, would you entertain at all working with Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, I like Deontay Wilder, man. I think that, but I know it may not be the case, but I like Deontay Wilder a lot. I think I like his personality. I like the energy that he brings, and I'm willing to, he's a nice guy. I like him, so I will work with him.
This one from Twitter for you, Errol. I got a couple of these questions, so I think only you can. It says, Errol, why did you stop working with Blu-ray?
I don't know. I mean, we were supposed to pick it back up, but you know, the car accident happened and stuff like that, and you know, it delayed me for a while, so it stopped working out. But hopefully after this fight, you know, we'll get back on it and start doing our strength conditioning work.
Okay, is that a training partner of yours for those who are?
Yeah, he do strength conditioning. We do strength conditioning together.
Got it.
1,000 push-ups a day, type of, crazy.
Wow. This one from Twitter from Sports Talk, he says, this is for Derrick and for Errol. Outside of timing and power, what do you guys think is Danny Garcia's best attribute?
Chin.
I think it's toughness. I think it's willingness to mix it up.
This one from Twitter from Quentin. It says, Errol, it looks like Manny Pacquiao is set on fighting Conor McGregor. Do you think he will actually fight you in the future?
I don't know. I mean, I hope so, but like I said before, I mean, he earned that right to, do what he wants. He has a, Hall of Fame legendary career. So he wants to, I'm sure it's a lot of money in that fight with Conor McGregor. So I'm not going for it at all. So if he does fight me, I'm here for it. But if he don't, it is what it is.
Okay. This one for Facebook, Errol, it says, how important is it to you staying undefeated?
It's important. I mean, it's definitely important not to lose. I mean, nobody wants to lose, but I mean, it's not my, top priority. My top priority is, becoming undisputed welterweight champion of the world. So I got derailed from it a little bit, but I think after this fight, I'll be right on track to, getting out of the titles.
This one from Facebook for you, Derrick. It says, since you have insight on Errol every day and you watch fighters, what separates, in your opinion, Errol from the likes of Bud Crawford and the other top welterweights?
I think that, I don't really know Bud like that. I've only seen him fight twice. But I think that I can say Errol's fortitude in the way he's challenged himself and pushed himself. I've never seen anything other than that from Crawford. But Sean Porter, Thurman, Danny Garcia, they pushed themselves also. But I think that Errol's fortitude and his toughness is really there. And that separates from my from my perception, from the other guys. Mental toughness and fortitude.
Gentlemen, we've come to the last segment of this show. We call it The Last Stand. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You just give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Y'all ready?
Right.
Derrick James, in your opinion, who is the best trainer in boxing?
I don't think there is one. I don't think there is one. I won't say there is one.
All right. Errol Spence. Where should Errol Spence Jr. be rated in the pound-for-pound rankings right now?
Somewhere in the top, somewhere in the top 5, 10, somewhere in the top 5 or 10.
Does it upset you when you see those rankings and they have Bud Crawford in front of you and you're the unified champ?
Nah, it don't upset me at all. I mean, those are people's opinions at the end of the day, so it don't upset me.
Derrick, first thing that comes to mind when I say the name Shawn Porter.
Wolfman Jack.
Tell me why that comes to mind.
I think, Wolfman Jack used to have with the, he had the hair and the beard. Yeah, Wolfman Jack, man.
Okay. Errol, first thing that comes to mind when I say Teofimo Lopez.
Let me see. Work. Say grinder.
Yeah.
Achiever.
Yeah.
Somebody really successful.
Last question, Errol Spence. By this time next year, will you be getting ready to fight Bud Crawford?
We don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. It's up to Al and Bob. Let them talk about it.
There you go.
I want
you.
to know, so we'll
Okay.
see.
I think that's what everybody loves to hear. Errol Spence Jr. will be taking on Danny Garcia December 5th. It will be one heck of a fight there in Dallas, Texas. Derrick James, he's not going to say it, best trainer in boxing right now. I appreciate you guys.
I have a question, BC. Are those two Emmys on the pool table?
They are. Yeah, they are.
Damn, okay. I mean, just make sure they're visible. I see them.
Well,
I saw that when the first, like, what? Yeah, okay, here we go. I never knew that.
Well, listen, if you're going to talk to a unified champ, I got to have my hardware too. You know what I mean?
That man, two Emmys.
You know what I mean? I didn't know if he's going to have his belts. I figured I need to have my hardware.
I see it too. That's the first thing I saw.
Say that right there.
See them right there. Two Emmys, man. That's what I'm talking about.
I had the other ones upstairs, but I figured,
Oh,
yeah.
They got the other ones upstairs.
Yeah.
You unified also, huh?
Yeah, I'm the undisputed when it comes to this. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's what we do here, folks, on The Last Stand. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.